Hey, what is up Guardians? If you want some easy triples and even quadruple 100 stats, then you've come to the right place. There's so many ways to obtain high stat armor these days. But do you know what's the best way to obtain it? The most efficient way? Is it Containments, Psi Ops Battlegrounds, or even the new Plunder focusing? Is it Grasp of Avarice, Duality, or Pit of Heresy? Well, one thing I can tell you for sure is not the new Seasons of the Plunder focusing, because that one is absolutely terrible, so don't waste your time and materials on it. I have tested all of these methods and today I'll be sharing with you which one is the most efficient one, as I know that a lot of you out there don't have the entire day to spend grinding armor. Quick announcement guys, we have started doing weekly raids and dungeons in my Discord server and I'm teaching them every single week. So if you want to join to help or to learn new encounters, then hop on the server, I promise we don't bite. First, let me quickly explain the basics of how armor stats work in Destiny. Your stats are divided into two buckets, one of them being mobility, resilience and recovery, while the other bucket is made out of discipline, intellect and strength. The highest total stat that you can obtain on a legendary piece of armor is 68. Those 68 stat points are divided somewhat evenly between the two buckets. That's why you won't see a legendary armor piece with 40 resilience on it. High stat armor is armor that drops with anything that's 60 and above when it comes to total stat points. Some people argue that you need at least 64 to call it high stat armor, but trust me, you don't. I've seen plenty of 60 stat armors with better stat placement than 64s or even 68s. So at the end of the day, it's more about the distribution of the stats rather than the total stat points. You can almost achieve triple 100 stats without any fragments or mods, but when it comes to quadruples, you have to pretty much only use the ones that give you bonus stats, which in most cases it's very bad for you and your build. In my opinion, quadruple 100s are just for show and they don't provide any major benefit. Trust me, you don't need anything more than triple 100s at best. Now, before we get to the farming methods, you guys need to make sure that you equip the Ghost mod Discipline Armorer, as this will guarantee that every piece of armor that you get comes with at least 10 discipline, and it also forces it to spike in most case scenarios. The reason why we are using discipline is because we don't want our stats to end up in intellect or strength, as those stats are completely useless, especially in PvE. The reason why we are not using a mod such as Resilience Armorer is because, for example, hunters benefit from all three stats from the top bucket, meaning that they have a 100% chance of obtaining more or less what they want, unless it's for a very specific build. Warlocks and Titans benefit from Resilience and Recovery, so they have a 66% chance of getting the stat that they want, meaning we don't really need to force any stats in that top bucket. We are going to be starting with the two most popular methods and probably the best ones, that being Containments and Psi Ops Battlegrounds. If you haven't played and unlocked previous seasons, then you are going to need the Witch Queen Deluxe Edition to be able to unlock them. These two methods actually came to be a very close matchup, both are super efficient and provide excellent armor when focusing. Starting off with Psi Ops, a normal run takes about 10 minutes and you get 3 Risen Umbral Energy per run with the War Table upgraded, or 5 if you do the double dipping when you happen to launch into the Cosmodrome activity. The problem with Psi Ops is that after 5 runs you will completely run out of Psychogenic Intel, which is used to open the chest at the end of a run, meaning that you can only do 5 runs before you have to go and farm some more. This means that you can expect anywhere from 15 to 20 Risen Umbral Energy in that 1 hour, which is the equivalent of 4 to 5 armor pieces. The armor that you get from the War Table is absolutely insane and you can expect stats like this. The biggest advantage about Psi Ops is that with this upgrade, you also get Risen Umbral Energy from raids, dungeons and non-seasonal playlist activities, meaning that you could casually play Destiny for a week and suddenly have a ton of Umbral Risen energy in your inventory. Containments is another viable method when it comes to farming high stat armor. The containment activity will take you anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes depending on what tier you join in. If you start from fresh, then expect a 10-minute run. If you join somewhat in the middle, then it will take you 5 minutes to finish. You can even get super lucky and join right at the end too. You get 9 opulent energy per run with all the upgrades, meaning that in 1 hour you can get anywhere from 6 to 12 runs done, giving you 54 to 108 opulent umbral energy, which is the equivalent of 5 to 10 armor pieces. The armor that you get from focusing is just as good as the Psi Ops one, so keep that in mind. One thing I really like about Containments is that you can also use them to level up your crafted weapons in the meantime, and also farm some other really good weapons like Callus Mini Tool or the Ostringer. So it's really good if you like multitasking in Destiny 2. If we were to come up with a conclusion, then both Psi Ops and Containments are an amazing way of obtaining high stat roll armor. However, if you want to get as many armor pieces as you can in 1 hour, then Containments is the way to go for sure. Don't forget that with Psi Ops, you get risen umbral energy from doing multiple activities in Destiny, which is a very nice passive way to get high stat armor. The third best way of obtaining godlike armor is in Pit of Heresy, and you can get it by farming the final boss in the dungeon. However, keep in mind that you can only do this when the dungeon is in rotation, which actually happens to be this week, so this is your best chance to farm armor from here, and you have until the weekly reset on Tuesday. The armor that you get from Pit of Heresy is absolutely mind-blowing and worth farming for. All you have to do is get a checkpoint to the final boss and then start farming. Each run shouldn't take longer than 5 minutes, and you are guaranteed to get an armor piece with some very nice spikes on it. I was farming this on my Warlock, and in about 30 minutes I managed to get all of this armor. If you guys need a checkpoint or people to farm with, then join my Discord, as we are always doing stuff like that. And finally, for our free-to-play players, we have Prophecy. This is a very cool dungeon, which you can also farm as much as you want. The dungeon actually drops high stat armor quite frequently, and if you're a free-to-play player, then this is the way to go. Here's the loot table showing what encounters drop what piece of armor. Getting to the first boss is super simple, and you can even solo it in less than 10 minutes. Other notable places to farm high stat armor are Master Duality, as well as Master Grasp of Avarice. Both of them drop Artifice armor, which not only comes with high stats, but it also gives you 1 extra mod slot in your armor. You can put any seasonal mod in this extra slot. Theirs of Eternity is also decent for armor farming. The only problem with theirs is that not only it requires 6 people, but also the RNG in this one is big. I went 6 runs without a single armor drop, so you might get just as unlucky or not. I don't like to rely on RNG, hence I would recommend the other farming methods mentioned in the video. And that would be all for today, guys. I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. I have put a lot of effort into making this, and I would really appreciate if you could drop a like and sub for the channel. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.